wondering what it takes to lead the HR function in one of the fastest growing housing finance companies in India? Today we'll get to this big question. Hi, I'm Kiran Maistry. Welcome to Future of Our People. It's a series dedicated to leaders who are shaping the future of work. Today, we are thrilled to have Mr. Ramakrishna, the Chief Human Resource Officer of Home First Finance Company. Mr. Ramakrishna has been instrumental in shaping the company's culture, driving talent acquisition, and fostering employee engagement. His strategic vision, combined with leadership, have enabled Home First to scale to new heights whilst maintaining its mission of providing affordable housing loans to low and middle class individuals. Hi, Mr. Ramakrishna. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Kiran. Thanks a lot.
In fact, today, Mr. Ramakrishna, we are eager to learn more about your journey and how you're driving growth and innovation at Home First Finance Company. In fact, let me begin with congratulating you and your company for crossing one of the biggest milestone of 10,000 crores asset under management.
Yeah, big milestone. I mean, we kind of had a bit of celebration, etc. as well, just to kind of recognize and acknowledge how far have we come in the last 14 years. So it's a very interesting and it's also a big opportunity to play in the big leagues. It's not just about having crossed a milestone, but it's also a beginning of something much bigger that we will have going forward. So yeah, it's both a celebration moment as well as an opportunity to reflect upon and take what's got us here forward.
No, in fact, when I hear these stories, it brings a smile on my face, Mr. Ramakrishna. The reason I say that, I'm a big fan of India to become a $10 trillion economy, right? I truly believe that, and I think we're going to smash that. And we need companies, right, to come to a point where they are growing. In fact, they're not growing, they're just having significant growth. And if I reflect back on your journey when you started in 2010 and to where you are 14 years down the line, crossing that 10,000 crores of asset under management, especially in a competitive market like India, it's significant milestone. And it also shows that, not only you're having significant growth, you're also contributing to the economy in terms of increasing the employee growth as well, right? Yeah. So we wanted to understand something you're doing right, something is working, right? So I just wanted to understand, or could you share with us how Home First has managed to achieve this remarkable growth? And specifically, what role HR function played in the success?
Yeah, I mean, I think while significant but a small portion was from the HR team, I would want to acknowledge the team that has put in a lot of effort to get to where we have got to. But I think a lot of it is opportunity, what has happened in the market, a lot of regulatory changes, and being there at the right time. I think all of that put together has got us where we are, and kudos to the business teams which have toiled very hard to get to this. So we can't hog the limelight around from them. So it's that. I think I'll focus mostly on what the HR team has done to enable this. We definitely did play a small part in this. First and foremost was to get the right talent in. I think that's a critical aspect. No growth is possible without the right kind of people joining and driving it. My chief business officer keeps saying that we are in people business. We are not in the business of selling home loans. So if we have the right people, I think the growth will come. That's been the belief that was always there. So we looked at 2-3 strategies which kind of helped us. Most organizations hire talent from other organizations. It's a kind of a dog eats dog world where you recycle the same people, and you kind of stuck with the similar ideas. If we had to think different and think big, we said that cycle that vicious cycle we will have to break. So, and one of the unique features of our organization has also been that 100% of our frontline workforce we hire from colleges, straight out of colleges, rather than hiring from other organizations, bringing in their culture bringing in their practices, some good, some not so good, etc. We said we'll build all of it on our own. It's something that we are proud of, so why not continue to thrive on that? So therefore, 100% of our hiring in the frontline roles always is freshers. To an extent that we have 80% of our entire population, this is their first job. They haven't worked in any other organization. So it's mostly homegrown talent, which is just passionate about what we are doing, kind of understands the ethos of this organization, and therefore drives the delivery. With the hiring comes the responsibility of training them, because they're fresh out of college, they haven't had the level of understanding about this market, this product, the way you sell, etc. That was another thing that we focused a lot on. Spent a lot of time in training freshers to take these roles. Our time to productivity, which is a key measure in how we train people, has been one of the best. Our productivity overall has been one of the best in the market. That kind of shows how we've done this, and the outcomes are testimony to the efforts that the team has put in terms of hiring the right talent and training them well. Those are, I think, the two pillars of what drove growth of the organization.
In fact, what stood out for me is, as a business, you have ethos of providing loans to first home buyers, and I believe you follow the same principle. You're giving an opportunity to your employees. This is the first job, right?
First job.
Is the first job. That's, for me, is phenomenal. And whilst you've been humble and enough to say that you played a small part, and I think I personally believe you played a bigger part, because I'm always big firm believer of, as a leader, you need to develop people, and people looks after your customers, and customer looks after your business, and business will look after yourself, right? So and for me, what again another point stood out is you being a people first organizations. Truly, you look after people as well. So that's great. You also mentioned about this time to productivity, right? For me, this is quite significant. I know many companies are struggling with that. Whilst I know you train employees, you bring the right talent, you train them, somewhere the productivity does decline at some point, right? So to begin with, what metrics do you follow even to measure the time to productivity?
See, I think one of the important things that we do is have very clear and simple KRAs for our employees. The more you complicate it and expect people to kind of cut corners, etc. I mean, you have too many checks and balances in the KRAs. Okay, you'll have to get this while you also have to do this, while you'll also have to ensure this. I mean, it kind of confuses people to a very large extent. You were to tell them, okay, go ahead, do this. And how do you create the checks and balances? That should be up to you. It should not be the problem of the employee at the last mile who's driving growth. So you keep them very simple target. You give them the free hand to do it the way they think is appropriate. Give them guardrails and tell them, okay, I'm not going to put 20 conditions around your KRA achievement. If I were to tell you, you have to achieve X and you achieve X plus or minus delta, you will get the money for X plus or minus delta that you have done. We will not have, oh, by the way, if you get X, but you should also do some Y, but you should also do some Z. That won't work with the employee. So I think simplifying the whole KRA system and ensuring that they know what they need to deliver and they know what they have delivered already. I think one of the biggest problems that we see in organizations is that till you actually achieve your incentive, you don't know how you got it and what you've got. So what we've said is right through the period. So if we have quarterly incentives, right through the quarter, you know how much you've done and how much you still need to do. It's as simple as that. Build some amount of choice in employees. Try and say, okay, this is how I want to do it. Go ahead and do it. I don't have a very mandated, regimented process to achieve what you want to achieve. And also comes from the fact that when we are hiring people from across the country, everyone has a different style. Each is an individual. You have to celebrate that individualism. and not say that everybody who joins us is the clone of the other. They're not. We get people from diverse backgrounds, so people will have different ways of reaching out and delivering the outcomes that they want to deliver. Everybody has a different passion, life outside of work. Can I ensure that my organization is flexible enough to be able to get all of these people in and allow them to thrive in the organization? So that to me has been I won't call it a secret sauce, but the way in which we've driven metrics. Keep it simple, ensure that people understand it, they know what they've achieved, they know what they need to do to get to the level that they want to get to, and we don't have like minimum thresholds. If you in a quarter you've done only 20%, you get 20%. I mean, it's simple as that. In a quarter things may not have worked out, but I don't want to fully penalize you for that. I would ensure that you get what you've earned, and not put overarching conditions and then move it to zero types. So that's how metrics have been thought through. And again, it's a ongoing process. We see some metrics don't deliver the results that we need, the outcomes that we need, and therefore we will be more than happy to revise it the next time around we look at it. And so every year we hold extensive consultations with employees, try and understand what is it that is working for them, what is it that is not working for them. The outcomes also tell me, okay, where is it working, where is it not working, have we driven the outcomes that we are expecting ourselves to, and therefore finally end up getting there. It's a journey. It's not, metrics is not a destination, not an outcome. Journey that we'll all have to traverse with the employees, with the feedback that we get. Don't get stuck to what you've created or what you've. Once in a while you come out with an excellent metric and you feel like Picasso. But you can't stay in love with those metrics, and things don't work out. Years change, contexts change. Don't be too hung up on what you have created. Allow it to change. Allow it to stand the test of time. You will come up with a better version of yourself every time.
It's brilliant, and I always say that the opposite side of complexity lies in its simplicity. When you find simplicity, you find power, and that's what you found. Power is all about having those simple metrics where employees understand in terms of where they are, what they need to do, and how they have to go about their own business. And I also liked about the fact that, right, you have a culture of empowering ownership, right? And also testing and measuring it, right? Not being stringent and rigid on certain metrics that may not work in the testing times, right? Taking the employees' feedback through consultations and trying to further improvising, right? We always say that testing and measuring it. So these are pretty amazing insights, Ramakrishna. And what I loved about is the diversity, right? Because for us in India, we are a very diverse market, right? We have so many regions, we have so many employees coming from different parts of India, and it's important for them to get them engaged as well, right? Because when you have to create a culture where everybody is inclusive, where their thoughts and feelings, because not everybody can think and continue to act like the way they do, right? There needs to be change, but that's where the culture is all about, how you can build a culture of where everybody is thinking and acting on some of the metrics that the results that you need to deliver. On those notes, when it comes to diversity and when it comes to retention, so what measures have you taken in terms of retaining talent as well? Because you've talked about bringing the fresh perspective, bringing the students and developing them. And what measures have you taken to retain them as well?
See, I think the biggest reasons for people exiting organizations is the expectation mismatch. Like when you walk into the organization, you come with an expectation, a set of expectations, and you say, okay, this isn't what I exactly thought or envisaged what it would be. And therefore the resentment, and therefore people exit. it's not money, it's not manager, it's your own expectations that you kind of keep measuring up to. What you expect, what you want versus what you get. That difference is what gets people out of the organization. So and then in search of that expectation, you keep hopping from one organization to another organization, hoping that that you get what you want. I think one of the things that we did on a consistent basis, and it's still work in progress, but I won't say that we've got there 100%, is to build the expectation in employees. Ensure that people know what they're getting into before they get into it. 2-3 broad areas that have worked well for us. One is internship. Get most of the people to intern with us before they join us. Put them through a full rigor while they're in the intern. Full rigor of how an RM or a CSM, which are our frontline roles, work. Having put that rigor, people kind of look up to it and say, oh, yes, I think this is what the role will be. And while 50% of the interns don't want to join the organization, 50% are clearly ready to join. So therefore, you're building that expectation. If I were to otherwise go to an organization or to a college and ask for final placements, all these 100% of the people would have said yes. And that's why they came and did their internship, right? Or at least 80% would have said yes. And then I would have lost 30-40% of those people who in a very initial period would kind of get a little hassled and then finally end up not joining or joining and then leaving very early. So if you were to exactly explain to them, it's very difficult to explain in theory or in a pre-placement talk in a college unless they kind of go through it themselves. It just becomes very, very difficult for them to realize it. So internship had become a very important aspect or process through which we hire people. Second is again engaging colleges. A lot of colleges we kind of go there and so for example, I go and teach in some colleges, I go and do guest lectures. Our regional heads have conversations with colleges to build that expectation again, to have conversations with students, because a college would know you, or the administration, the placement officer would know you, but every year you have a new set of students coming in. It's a churn. So every year the students who are coming new have to experience Home First again first time. So how do you ensure that happens? By regularly being present in these colleges in different ways and means, wherever we can help. Then you build that in people. Once the person decides to move on from an organization, you can't do much. You can do a little bit here and there, but that's not the way we think we can retain people. It's about getting the pipeline has to be about those people who really want to work here, and that drives your retention efforts significantly better. I mean, even in roles like these frontline sales credit roles, we are able to retain majority of our people and for longer periods is because of the way in which we've set the right expectations, got the people in, and given them the flavor of the organization so that they mentally are prepared to be here. Once you're prepared to be here, I think you will a few setbacks here and there, a tough manager here and there, you will walk through that. I mean, you will kind of push your way through some of those troubles that you have when you truly want to be here, right? Everything else will kind of set into like a puzzle just getting set itself. It sets itself in front of you.
Now this is brilliant, Ramakrishna, and I think you hit the nail here. It's all about establishing the expectations. Most often or not, we all have an expectations, but it's an art when it comes to establishing those expectations. And when you get that right, you get transformational results.
Yeah.
More often or not, when I speak to a lot of companies, when I speak to a lot of leaders, where the struggle is, how do you manage unmet expectations? right? And that's where I wanted to get your ideas and inputs as well, but just wanted to complete that, right? Where managers have not been trained. In fact, some leaders as well, right? They are struggling when it comes to how do you manage those unmet expectations? Whilst you establish it, how do you manage that unmet expectation? So I'm very curious to understand what's your strategies or what has worked with. How do you do it in a very principled and focused way in addressing these challenges and meeting those unmet expectations?
I don't know. I mean, it's not a science for us at this point in time. Again, we're also learning. We're a young organization. A lot of people who work with us, our average age is around 25, 26 of the people who work in the organization. So it's also a lot is changing. One of the things that I think worked for us, again, not a science, something that is worked, is having managers who are very close to your age. From a perspective that you're able to quickly understand better the problems that my team members go through. If I'm just 2 or 3 years older than them, if I'm 15, 20 years older than them, it might be, now it's almost 5 generations of gap if you are 15 years older. So the way things are changing. So it just helps. I think, again, a lot of interventions, etc. may not, because whatever you do, it has to be something which is more generic. It will be the lowest common denominator of things, right? It is not going to be very personalized, very individualized. If you run any activity from the organization, you have to empower your managers, and you have to have them who are closer. I mean, the people who are closer to your employees need to have the power to kind of engage them. So if you decentralize it a lot and ensure that this is the set of managers with the right intent are driving the activities, they will more often than not get it right. Again, like I said, because the age of the manager is as close to the people, they understand them better. Just a notion that we have. It's not that very senior people will not be able to understand. It's just they will also not be able to seek honest feedback at points in time. I mean, you have your preconceived notions, right? I mean, when you think, okay, the person doesn't has a passion for art, and someone wants to do something different in their spare time, you feel, why is the person not chasing the targets and doing 120, 150% of their targets? Some people are happy doing 90, 100% of their targets, and then you want to take some time, you want to chill a little more than someone who's continuously chasing targets, because that is how we've grown up as managers. So that difference is something that has started coming about as we have more and more younger managers with 3, 4, 5 years difference between them and their people. That's again, like I said, it's not a precise science, but it's working for us to a large extent.
No, it is. In fact, I could see that because you are growing. It is result. You are generating tremendous amount of result as well. You're growing, and I think having a proper system where you do it in a principled and focused way, where everybody is talking the same language of managing those unmet expectations, it can take up to your 30x times of your business, right? As you scale, you need to, that's where many companies also, but for me, what I understood is your company is growing, you have all the proper systems in place, but it's how the systems can scale to meet the demands as well is an area and opportunity that you're working on. So brilliant. So Home First and Finance, you're a people business and also has a tech business, right? So with the rise of technology, Ramakrishna, how has Home First integrated technological advancements in the HR practices, right, to improve efficiencies or employee experience? Just wanted to understand more in that as well.
I think two things. If you want to drive a business which thrives on technology, then the way you manage people has to also be built around that. You can't have one way of dealing with your people and expect them to deal with their customers in a very different way, right? I can't have a back-end process which is very manual to showcase a great front-end process which is very, very high on tech. So that was a fundamental thought process when we started off. So key was how do I do it on a scale, and how do we ensure things. One thing that we did is while there is always the urge to excessively use technology in the people space, the question that we have to keep asking ourselves is it required? Is the process itself required? Sometimes you say, okay, I'll give you a small example. Attendance. Now there is huge amount of technology that has come in. Your face recognition, your geo-tagging, wherever your employee is, your attendance system can be behind them to kind of figure out. There is tracking and so on. And there is hundreds of technologies available and the best of technology available to do something like tracking your attendance. Now think, if we sat back and said, okay, is attendance even necessary? Why do you even need attendance? You ask that fundamental question, and then and you say, okay, may not be. I mean, you'll have 10 use cases why attendance is necessary. Then you need to put an answer to it and saying why it is. It's okay. I mean, you can do it another way. There is some other metric which will deliver the same outcome for you. So you will be able to answer all of that, and then you say, okay, I don't even need attendance. So if I don't even need attendance, what's the point of all this technology? So therefore, we don't have attendance today at Home First because of the point of view that we said, okay, while we can do it, and then it can be very simple for people. There are many technologies which you won't even know, and then things are done. I'm not expecting them to sign a register, put something, and all of that. But you can build in a lot of technology which is kind of helping you deliver this. But before that, you'll have to ask that question. Do you even need it? Do you even need a process where there is 20 layers of transfer, approvals? Can you not just get people to talk to each other? Then you don't need a technology. You don't need technology to get people to talk to each other. I mean, they just pick up their phone and talk to each other. Well, that is also some technology, but I'm just saying, from an HR tech point of view, you can have a fancy transfer process which enables, identifying one role, popping up, notifications telling, okay, this new person is going to come to you, and so on and so forth. And, you can build all of that in a transfer process. But you may want to ask the question, can I get my managers to talk to each other? Do they need a technology for that, or you don't? If they talk to each other and ensure that it gets done, then I don't even need the system. So therefore, I don't have a transfer system. So I think we started off with saying, okay, what do we even need? And why do we even need that? And then started eliminating a lot of things that we don't need. And for what is left, I said, let's use systems too. So for example, our campus recruitment. We do a lot of work in campuses. So we said, okay, that needs a system, because the data that will come, the richness of the information that will come out of it, will help me take decisions every year. Which colleges should I go to? Which colleges I shouldn't go to? How did the people fare? All of this can't be on gut and feel basis. You would need a lot of information, data crunching, etc., etc. So we said we will invest. So there we've invested and ensured we got the best of the product. So I think that's been the way in which we've gone about things. We didn't say, okay, I need the best system for everything. We said we will first rethink whether we need anything or not. And from there, we'll start from that zero base. We'll question everything and say, okay, why do you even need it? And then get to the next one. Don't get enamored by what is going around in fancy and try and use everything in the name of experience, etc. I mean, see, every activity you add however beautifully you add, is an activity which is other than core business, right? I am in the business of generating home loans. So as a relationship manager, that is my only activity. Anything else that I do is additional activity. So I need to reduce and, make that to a minimum. So my additional activities should be the least. Again, performance management, for example. We said we don't want a fancy performance management system where everybody is writing milestones and putting the feedback, etc. In the business of doing things, in the process of doing things, can there be feedback generated? Can that just be your CRM system? Can it act as your performance management system? And we managed to do that. So when you're just doing your business, your performance kind of keeps getting calculated at the back end, and it starts showing up. Rather than having to go into another fancy performance management system and try and do things. So yeah, I mean, I won't say this is again a one size fits all for all organizations. It's something that works for us. So that is how we've gone about using tech.
No, thank you, Ramakrishna. It's all about understanding the best practices, right? What you're sharing is work for you and for your company. And any company that has achieved 10,000 crores of AUM in a short amount of time, it also signifies the operational efficiencies, right? And I really love your approach of zero-based, asking the basic questions. Why do we need it? What is the business? How is it going to contribute to our business results, right? And to be honest, I never worked for any company of this attendance system. And I would rather, and if any company that shows that this is the attendance you need to clock in, and for me it's a no-go. It's a no-go. And I know, sir, there are many companies that traditionally still follow that. And when you're trying to create an experience of employee engagement and retention, look at certain things that are they doing the job? I mean, are they doing the job for your employees? But I really also loved about the fact of the activities, right? You gave a fantastic example there, Ramakrishna. I always go about and asking that, does all activity leads to results? Probably it does, but may not be the desired result that you wanted to achieve, right? And think about those experiences, think about those activities that really contributes to your business outcomes. And thank you. And for you, it has worked, campus recruitment. Yeah. Right? It has worked for you, and this is brilliant. So, Ramakrishna, what are future aspirations for your people? What plans do you have in the coming months and years for your people?
Tough one. I mean, see, the idea is always to keep growing, keep thriving, ensure that people enjoy working there. I think that's our aspiration. People should have fun being in this place. They should feel that, I'm at the right place. And I'm contributing something meaningful. As long as people keep believing that, I think we're doing our job. For me, if it's 1,000, 2,000, 20,000 employees, doesn't matter. It has to be that every individual is having fun doing what they're doing. As long as that is happening, I think you're there. Can I do it all 365 days a year? I may not be able to. I mean, there will be times where there will be highs and lows for an employee. We will have to acknowledge that when we are at the low, we have to ensure that we bring them up quickly. When we are at high, we need to ensure that the feet is firmly on the ground, that we are not flying around thinking that this is it and we have arrived. So that balance is something that we continue to strive for. Being happy but being content, and also ensuring that the right things keep happening. So that has to be being humble in your success and not getting too worried about when you're not doing well is the right balance that we think will help people. That will deliver everything else. I mean, that will deliver your work-life balance, that will deliver your passion, that will deliver your purpose, all of that. If you're balanced, you will achieve everything that you think you want to achieve. If you are not balanced, you kind of swing from one extreme to another. It will be difficult to find all of these. You'll get some, but you won't get all. So balance, I think, is critical. So that's our motto. Ensure that people are balanced through good and bad. We continue to deliver good experience to them consistently, not a great experience one day and a really bad experience the other day. Can you deliver a good experience every day? That's what we strive for.
This is brilliant. I mean, giving those good experiences to your employees consistently. Loved it in a way because, and I also love the fact of balancing. In fact, I always use my logo as a brain and heart. Whilst your brain thinks something and your heart has something, so how do you balance that? And I really love the way you have to balance in terms of everything that we do in life, and you also touched upon. Let me put this way, right? What advice you would give to younger version of yourself, if you had to give an advice?
I think I've been fortunate enough to get to where I've got to. In the process of getting here, I've had some very sound advice and some things that I learned the tough way. At that point in time, I didn't feel great about it, the way I was getting the advice or the life lessons that were coming to me. But I think I wouldn't be here or half the person that I am if I didn't go through that. So for me, I think the advice to my younger self is don't hate it so much when you're getting the bad, when you're getting the bad news, when you're getting the advices or the situations that you're going through. Don't hate it. There's something very nice up for you at the end as you grow. So just be happy about whatever you're getting. I think that's something that I missed when I was young. I mean, it's a hindsight, right? So you will only know it when you get there. So I wasn't very happy at those points in time. I think I'll tell myself, don't worry too much. Try to be a little more happier than what you were at that point.
I mean, there's always a light at the end of the tunnel, right? So have that belief and work towards it. These are brilliant. So finally, I have one final question for you, Ramakrishna. In terms of whoever our viewers are watching, right? I emphasize more on learning. If you don't focus on learning, you don't grow, right? When we often talk about growth mindset fosters learning. And there's always, you need to have that habitual practice. So would you recommend any one or two books that you've recently read or quite of transformational that you would love to give to advice to our viewers?
Well, I think one thing that kind of changed my perspective on a lot of things was Outliers.
Okay.
It's not about having born with something, a skill, or there's a lot of things that work towards making you what you are. Right? And going about it in a very clinical fashion, being at it, is something that I learned from that book. I think that transformed. I mean, a lot of things that you see around you, you think they're natural at it, they've got it by God's grace, or, you externalize a lot of things. You have to think that if you want to be that, you can get there. And you can get there by practice, by changing your habits, by ensuring that you are at it for so many years and years that you would need rigorously without fail. And you will get there. You'll get there. I mean, there's nothing that you can't achieve if you are at it. So it's not at all a skill or anything can be learned, anything can be achieved. If you're doing the right things. So that I think has been a phenomenal advice that I kind of gave myself once I read that book. It just blew my mind off in terms of my own way of looking at things. It changed dramatically after that.
That is pretty amazing. And thank you, by the way, for sharing Outliers. Something I would love to read as well. And I really love what you said, right? If you do the right things, great results follow. Brilliant. So Ramakrishna, there were a lot of things that we discussed. Thank you very much for your time. And finally, I want to touch about the internships. I know a lot of people do often reach out to me, right? Do you have any website do you want to share here so that viewers know that if somebody wants to get their internships, what's the process like?
No, we go to colleges and take them. So it's something that we believe is a good tunnel or of the pipeline, so that the people keep coming. So if anybody is interested, they can get their placement officers to reach out to us. And we would be more than happy to not just take one. It also helps if you take more people, right? You're there with your friends. So rather than just coming alone and then kind of feeling lost, if you come with your friends, it will be great. So therefore, we generally, whenever we go to college, we will hire like 5, 10, 20 interns, depending on the interest and the size of the college, so that they can work together. They can work together, learn from each other while they're at it. So don't apply single internship. Get your college, get more people in, and we should definitely give you an opportunity.
Yes.
If you fit the criteria.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you. And in fact, I forgot to acknowledge in my entire discussion that when I visited you, I really loved the office. And when you explained your concept of offices, that you have many offices, right? Really loved it. There are very few offices where you step in, where you feel less corporate but more like a family kind of a home. And that's what I felt. Right from entire greenery that you have in your office to that warm welcome that you feel, right? Like I can see why great companies build great cultures and how their great cultures deliver business results. And one such experience that you give to your employees makes a lot of difference as well. So Ramakrishna, thank you. Thank you for your valuable time. Thank you for sharing valuable insights, and we shall be in touch. And I really wish you and Home First company to have a great success ahead, and we'll stay in touch.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.